to change my mind. You're headstrong forward, but this time around I'm taking my time. Don't push me, I'm not coming down, I'm not giving up. Oh, don't rush me, I made up my mind, going straight to the top.
You're like a circle that floats around me, keeping me safe and sound. And when I fall, you tied a rope to me. You're blessing me every day. I was down with an illusion, like a sparrow with broken wings. But now I shine with your reflection on me. I'm getting back up on my feet. That you showed up was written in my palm. You are a statement, explode like a bomb. I get to push myself to victory. You make me winner. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. You cut me loose and set me free. You make me win in every way. You showed me how to spread my wings. Yes, I'm the winner of the day. Yes, I'm the winner, yeah. 'Cause I'm the winner, yes. Am I awake or am I dreaming? So far gone, I won't look back. And when I move, there ain't no stopping me. You're pushing me up to the top. I saw the clouds looking angry, but then the sky reached my mind. And when I space out, I see the possibilities unfolding the way that I want. That you showed up was written in my palm. You in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. You shouldn't doubt yourself, 'cause you're a work of art. You should know that you are perfect with those flaws. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Know that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine. And who cares if you might mess it up? You're stronger than the others think. And who cares if you might mess it up? Shine, go ahead and shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine, shine, darling. Go ahead and shine, my dear. 'Cause who cares if you might mess it up? Just shine.
Hey everyone, welcome to Mentoring with Sally. Today we're talking about how to productize your knowledge and turn a service into a product. I hope you're excited for today's session. It is going to be an awesome one. Hey Erica, I see Erica's out there in the audience. It's if you go into the Slack channel, darling, you should be able to get into the Zoom room. So just go and check and see inside the Slack channel. All right, guys, we have a pretty good one lined up. I'm actually going to give you a look behind the sparkly curtain and see how we've developed our product and service over the years. Let's have a look. We've only got a couple of VIPs jumping on in. Hey, Trisha. Hey, Sarah. Everyone always is very shy and seems to come in after we actually start. Hey, Birmingham. Well, very hot. Now, just tell me, what is hot to you in the UK? I always find it very funny when people from the UK say that it's hot. It's like, 25 or something crazy. So let us know. Awesome, guys. Well, we've got a really great show lined up for you today. So this is Mentoring with Sally. Now, I come in here most Tuesdays in Australia, Mondays literally everywhere else except New Zealand. Oh, actually, no, the Asian countries are in the same similar-ish time zone as us. But anyway, when you're on the other side of the world, Sarah says it's 28 degrees Celsius indoors in the VIP room. That's pretty hot. Well, yeah, At least, hopefully you got an air conditioner. I'm just saying. So this is Mentoring with Sally. We do this most weeks except for when we're doing a week of training or a public holiday. So we're here most of the time. And I mean here I teach a little something. And then we do live Q&A at the end. Now, if you want to make sure that you do not miss any of our live sessions, head there. Go right there, sparkleclassacademy.com/calendar. And we are in the middle of, and I wonder whether, I'm just checking my phone right now, if it's been set up yet. It has not yet been set up, but we will be setting up Dr. Sparkle, Mentoring with Sally. So if you want Dr. Sparkle reminders, or maybe I haven't opted in yet, Dr. Sparkle will drop into your inbox. She's supposed to be dancing right now, but something happened and imperfect action at its best. So Dr. Sparkle will also help you get reminders straight into your messenger. So you just head there and register for Monday mentoring. All right, but make sure this is a good one because you can put this into your own Google Calendar, and in your own Google Calendar, it will show in your own time zone. Just saying. All right, so productization of your knowledge. Or if you have a service, how are you going to turn it into a product so that you stop trading time for money? Well, this is a presentation I did recently at a conference up in Queensland. Well, a shortened down version of the presentation. So I hope you enjoy. Now, let me know, does anyone actually know what productization means? Do you know what productization means? Let me know in the chat box. So I know at least if I'm teaching you something. I just saw Automation Nerd Sexy Strategist. I was joking around with my team the other day and put that in there, and it looks like I didn't change it back. So hopefully I look like a sexy strategist as well today. Yes, Reba, it is Sparkle time, baby. All right, we need to get stuck into today's content. So you guys, this is a cool thing, right? If you turn up live, we get to hang out and chill for a little bit, but this all gets chopped down and made into things, and all this fun stuff that happens at the beginning it's supposed to get chopped out of the videos. So this will become a podcast and all the things. All right, so let's set up for the podcast part, right? In today's episode of Straight Talk with Sally, we're going to talk about productization. What that means is taking a service, right? A service that you might currently have where you're trading one-on-one time, and also your knowledge, and actually packaging it up in a way that it is a product. So let's dig into the content so that you can understand what is productization. So it's going to allow you to literally work less, earn more. Who doesn't like that, right? So if you've ever tried to grow and scale, maybe your freelancing business, what you find you're doing is you're constantly trading time for money if you're a freelancer. And, you end up hitting that thing where you're trading time, but also you're living product to product, right? And it's not the kind of lifestyle that is actually sustainable long term, because you're always out there trying to find new clients, and you get like stressed and frustrated trying to constantly find new people. So the solution to this problem is productization. So with productization, it allows you to take your service that you have, and then as an agency owner, a freelancer, a consultant, is to break out of that horrible billing cycle per hour and actually have a product instead that you can invoice ahead of time rather than at the end of the job. So today what I'm going to go through with you is I'm going to show you how you can go from shifting and struggling for trading time for money and feeling like super stretched thin with one-on-one clients with a proven framework that we use to help you productize your service and also your knowledge. So this is for you if you're desperately trying to get out of the rat race, right? You're sick of trading time for money and you want a more simple, more duplicatable, systemized business, or you're desperate to scale, but you're struggling because you're doing everything yourself and you're trading, you're always searching for the next billable hour, and growth stagnates because you're just doing too many of the roles. Maybe you're a high achiever, you're growth orientated, you're a driven entrepreneur, but you just can't seem to find that balance because you're always busy working. So let me know in the chat, out of all of those things, who are you? Are you A? Are you struggling because you're constantly trading time for money? Or are you struggling to scale because you're doing everything yourself? Or maybe you're a high achiever, but you just can't find balance between life and work. Let me know in the chat below, which one are you? We've got some A's and B's coming in. Yep, B's struggling, right? A few C's, that struggle between life and work, right? Super, super tricky. Sarah's like A and B, time for money, says Liz. All right, guys. So this is what we're going to talk about today. We're going to share a little secret with you on how you can actually take that knowledge, your service, and actually productize it. So as you know, I always love a good path, right? Because we've generated over 7 figures. We've grown a loyal team, a massive following of lifers, because I always have a path, and the path is 6 steps, not 7. 6 steps that we're going to go through with you today. So in step 1, I'm going to share with you what actually is productization so that you can understand the differences between a service and actually a product. Then we're going to talk about the big secret to actually how to productize your service. So if you're a freelancer, you're outsourcing all the things. And then we're going to look at developing a bulletproof productized offer and the concept around that. Then in step number 4, we're going to look at the 3 magical steps to true momentum. And then I'm going to give you a secret behind the scenes look at how us as the Sparkle Class Academy have actually evolved over time. So we've had a lot of numerous projects and programs and courses that we've put out there, but there has been 3 major ones that we have kind of redeveloped. All kind of sort of have a similar thing, but we've gotten better and better and better at what it is we do. So I'm going to share that with you. And then, of course, we're going to go into the VIP room. We're going to spend some time with those guys and find out what they like best, what they enjoyed, and if they've got any questions around this. So let's start with the obvious question. What is productization? Now, think about your average consulting service, right? Most consulting services, they invoice. And when they're invoicing, what they're doing is they're working closely with the buyer and they're creating a custom solution to solve a particular problem. Every part of that engagement, from the sale all the way through to delivery, is customized for the client. Productization is the opposite approach, right? Instead of actually using a unique solution for each buyer, we come up with one way of doing it that allows us to become scalable, and it's applicable to all of your buyers. Instead of, that custom service, you rely on the same process over and over and over again. This process is a series of steps that you're going to take them through to get to the outcome that you want to get them to. So what I'm going to do is show you now what the actual differences are between a service and a product. So if we look here, you've got products and services, right? And a service is given based on the activity or a process. So you're doing the thing, right? And a product is something solid and concrete, right? You go and buy it, you pick it up off the shelf, it's the same thing. Or a service also is intangible, right? Because it can change. And if you have a product, it's actually tangible. It's the same. You can grab it. You can hold it, right? You own it. A service is it goes service, product, you give them the product, you've got a distributor, a consumer, and it all happens at the same time. Where a product can be distributed and it's sold separately to people at different times. And then in store, a service, you can't actually store it because it's in your brain, right? You're helping people. But a product can be stored, can be used over and over again. A service is more difficult to market because of the customization that is involved in a service. And a product is much easier to market because it's the same thing. A service is the customer decides what they need, okay? And then you do what they need. Where a product, you must solve a particular pain or a problem in a repeatable way. Also, a service is it's the service provided by the customer or the consumer to the seller, and it's based on the interaction between you. And as a product, the core value of the product is actually produced in a factory, okay, rather than the interaction between the consumer and the seller. Then also, the quality of a service is dictated by the budget, where the quality of the product is dictated by the investment. A service can be started with very little money. But if you've got a product, you've got to have a lot more money up front to get that product developed, manufactured, and all the things. With a service, it has to be delivered within a certain time frame, right? But as a product, they may or may not expire, right? You can buy it. I mean, you know, canned goods or fresh goods, they do expire, right? You got to use them within a certain time frame. But a lot of products, you know, toys on the shelves, those types of things, they don't really expire. You just got to buy new batteries. And now a service, it can give you access. You can have access to the service, but it cannot be owned because it's the intellectual property of the person who's actually doing the service for you. So without that person, you don't actually physically have that thing. But a product can be transferred, ownership from manufacturer to dealer to consumer. All right. Now, what is productization? Now, we've done a bit of a comparison between the two. Some of them you're like, oh, yeah, I do that, and I do a little bit of that. So if you're doing a little bit of the service and a little bit of the productized stuff, what you've actually got yourself is productization. It actually straddles the middle between both a product and a service. So it pulls a little bit from column A and a little bit from column B. Okay, so let's now kind of break it down a little bit more. Why productization of a service? Why should you even consider doing it? Now, there are many, many benefits around productizing a service. The benefits for freelancers and consultants is it's less hands-on work, right? The productized service allows you to grow your business, serve more people without having to do a ton of hands-on work for each project. It also, the model itself is duplicatable. And it means that you should only need to do modifications, but not huge overhauls from the client, from one client to the next project, or from project to project. Additionally, it's a more robust portfolio of a productized service, and it can be taken over and managed by somebody else. So you can step back from being fully in charge of everything. Also, you can serve more customers. So once you're productized your service, you can sell it to multiple customers, and this will allow you to grow without drastically having to increase your expenses. You may even be able to expand your service in all different areas, and it's much easier to deliver your service when it's been productized. No more individual invoicing, right? You don't have to any longer bill per hour or per project. You can sell this product while busy doing other products and projects, and also while taking time off. If you want to bring a few employees in, you can train them to sell these package solutions for you. Also, with a productization, I keep struggling with the word, even with a productized service, right? It's more predictable. You can sell subscriptions to your service. You can get packages made up. Additionally, you could serve people more quickly without you having to invest more time in the development of that product and service over and over and over again. And you get paid up front. How nice is that? Especially when you bill per hour, you know. And also what happens, in regards to predictability, is sometimes the scope grows, right? You got to do more, and all of a sudden you've quoted for one price, but then the scope of the project grows and grows and grows, and you're like, well, do I charge them more or do I keep it the same? And you get all that feeling of, I don't know if I should charge more or just wear it, right? Love getting paid up front. And also, it's a consulting business that you can sell. It's infinitely scalable. More freelancers and agency owners wish that they could get paid up front. They do. And this is totally possible when you have a productized service. You create packages, you set your pricing, and then you get paid up front. And the second benefit of it is that it's just easier to sell because the service is already packaged up at a fixed price, and there's no back and forth negotiating, and the scope of the project is the same. And the clients buy the service like off the shelf, right? And you and your team just execute on that service. Now, the way we get this up and running, the way we make it work is with focus. This is the secret to transforming your freelancing, your consulting into a productized service. But most people aren't talking about this. It's the focus. It's going to allow you from that scope creep, right? And struggling with all the different offers and choosing between, scope creep, X, Y, Z. Yes, right? It just keeps growing and growing and growing. But you see, if you start to stray from trying to turn your product into a service and you keep adding on more things and you keep changing your mind way too often, you're going to create a monster. Without focus and actually putting the effort in, you're going to move and continue to go back into that one-on-one because you're going to want to try and solve every problem again. But the productized service itself is one thing. And if you don't focus, like truly focus in on being super clear with what it is you want to do, you can actually end up with a really unprofitable, complicated mess. And everything about your productized service starts to get stripped down into lots and lots of different offers again. So what I want you to start to do is think of the one thing. What's one huge problem that you seem to solve over and over again that you can start to productize? And this is where we start to really, really dial in that focus. So you want to start to look at, first off, who do you serve? What problem is it that they want to have solved? And then finally, what steps will you take them there to get to the solution? When you strip each of these factors down to their bare essentials, you create a productized service that is light, it's nimble, and it's highly efficient. It's lean, it's well built. You won't get stuck in it time and time and time again, constantly customizing the service. Of course, you can't escape the risk that your clients are going to ask for more customization within the product, right? And that service that you're offering. But just because they ask, that doesn't mean that you should say yes. You're trying to move out of that one-on-one, constantly having to bill for time for money. It's going to improve the overall product and you'll get better results for your customers. As you can work with each of the clients, you still will improve the product, but you can also say no to things that don't fit. The more you break away from this proven system, the more complex your delivery system and method will be, until drip by drip, all the benefits of that productized service and offer is gone. So when you make it more complex, you confuse, you lose, right? So you must learn to say no. You have to learn how to say no to the clients instead of saying yes when it doesn't make sense to the model that you have chosen. Now, I don't mean be rude, but just be firm, be confident that this is the product service that we offer. And if they want something else, they go somewhere else. And I'm going to share with you how ours has evolved over time. It doesn't mean that it doesn't evolve. It just means you don't have to put everything in it. When we teach course creation, the hardest part isn't actually what you put in it. It's what you leave out. You're helping to solve a main problem, right? You're the expert, remember? Don't let the client actually derail what it is that you're trying to build so that you can achieve your goals of more lifestyle, more freedom, moving out of the rat race. As the consultant, it is your duty to your client to show them what will work, and don't let them assume that all these other things are going to work if you know they won't work. Delivering a productized service can often feel like a little bit of an exercise in sticking to the system, because I know the feeling you want to help everybody, but don't. Yeah. The more you focus and be deliberate when you're creating this productized service, the higher the chance you have of succeeding. Remember, focus. Reba says, I had to say no today and they understood that what they were asking required another 1 hour coaching session. Yes, right? You have to learn to say no. So you can stop trading time for money. That's what you all want to move out of, right? Okay, so Here we have this beautiful bridge, right? You've got this idea and you need to create one way to help people get to their goal. Now, if you're already busy and you're already overwhelmed and you've got no time already, how are you supposed to scale your business if you keep building multiple ways to get to the goal? Like, I remember my dad used to say to me, Sally, if you're not working 110% of the time, you're not working hard enough. And I'm like, you shouldn't have to work so hard to get people these results. Figure out which one way you're going to get people to that. You see, if you keep building multiple bridges to get people to the result, what you're going to end up with is a crapload of half-built bridges. This is where the key of focus comes in, right? You want to finish a bridge, have a complete process to get people from A to Z. And look, I'm going to talk about context shifting. You all know this is a huge part of what I teach. Focus in on one thing. You see, when you focus in on one thing, you can give it 100% of your time and your effort. Now, you might think to yourself, hey, look, if I actually do two things, I got two different ways of getting people to that goal. Both of them are going to actually get 50% of my time, but they don't. You see, you lose time as you run between the bridges, and you've got to refocus on where you were at that previous bridge. So what you end up with is, instead of having 50-50, they only get 40-40, and you lose 20% of your time switching between the different bridges and ideas. If you're doing 3 different ideas, you lose 40% and you're only actually giving them 20%. Or 4 different ideas, and now you're only able to give 10% of your time to each of those bridges, and you literally lose 60% of your time jumping from bridge to bridge. And if we go down to 5 different ideas, it's 5%, right? And it's meant to be 75% in context switching, which means out of an 8-hour day, 8-hour day, you're only actually working 2 productive hours. Now, this is why so many people feel like they're a hamster on a running wheel. They're running, but they're not getting anywhere. Now, be totally honest with me. How many bridges are you building right now? Don't be shy. It's okay. How many bridges are you currently building? Because I really want you to focus in on this one thing. When you productize your service, you become scalable. You can move out of trading time for money, billing per hour, and all the things. Liz is like, 1, because that's what Sally's taught me well. I love it. You can tell she's a client. All right. So what I'd like to do, now that we've really sort of spoken about what a product is, how you can actually build it, it's by like honing in on that focus. Now, what I'm saying is when you build this thing, when you give it the time it needs, I would say you could do this in sort of 6 to 12 weeks, depends how fast you work. That's what we get our clients to do, is build out all of the things within 6 to 12 weeks, hone in on that one thing, find that one client, and then actually have one way to get them to you, one way to sell it, and one clear offer. So I want to take you now through a way that you can develop your concept, okay? So let's figure out how you can take your own offer that you currently have. We're going to develop a concept together. So get out that pen and paper. Now, we're not going to actually create the product today, but I'm going to share with you the concept so that you can focus on what that product is that you have right now, and then we can create the story around it, okay, on how you're going to actually sell this little sucker. So we discussed this before. What you're going to do is you're going to write down who is it that you serve. Okay, who is your ideal client? Now, when I tell you this, I don't mean what color underwear do they wear, what do they have for dinner. I want you to be specific. What is the person that you serve? Pick an age, those types of things, but don't do those silly, I see those silly ICA questionnaires about, what TV show do they watch? It's not going to help you with your messaging. What is the biggest problem that they have that they want to solve? Now, when you're thinking about the problem that you can solve, here are some tips to consider when you're looking at what can you help them solve. So now I want you to think back to your clients, and here are some ideas around that. So, what do people ask you most often about? What do you hear the question coming up time and time again? You may think it's easy because it's your zone of genius, or what I call your inner sparkle. But if you keep hearing it, it points out to you that it is a problem that needs solving. Next, I want you to think about, what do your clients request help from you the most? Sometimes it's even friends and family that are asking you for the same thing over and over and over again. Have a look back through the current projects that you've done, and what have some of the outcomes been that you've done for those clients? And what has your area of expertise, how has that changed their condition, the way they feel or think, or the way they actually are? So this is super helpful to look back through email conversations with your clients, find the actual language that they use. You don't want to base your productized offer on what you think they want. I want you to actually look back on what you've done or the questions that they've asked. Now, in our program, we do this. We call it message mining. We have a whole series of questions that people go through, and they usually end up with clients along the way. But this really helps you to define the problem and also find the messaging, because what you want to end up with is focusing in on one offer. Create one scalable way of fixing their problem, right? Get them happy, smiling, from A all the way through to Z. What is that problem? We're kind of like reverse engineering. All right, so we've discussed, you've got to know now who you serve. Once you've nailed down some ideas around the product that you'll solve, right, the problem, that you'll solve with your productized service. Now we put it all together and we put it into steps. Okay, what are the steps you will take them through to solve their problem? So when you're considering the steps, I want you to think of the fastest path. You see, people don't pay to be hammered with the 30 years of knowledge that you have. People actually pay you for speed. You see, the hardest part isn't what you put in it, it's what you leave out. So I want you to ensure that you try to find the fastest path to get them there. So think to yourself, how could you provide the fastest results? And I want you to write between 3 to 9 steps. What elements of your service can you cut out, right? You want to shrink down the process to get them from A to Z the fastest. And how can you do it in a way where you and they enjoy to do it repeatedly over and over and over again? You really want to align this with a real client problem with an efficient and profitable method so that you can deliver it and you've got a really strong concept behind it. That doesn't mean that you put it out to market with clients that are instantly going to buy it. It sometimes does take refining as you go, but you need to start with an idea. Pop it out to market and test it as you go. And through using this concept of validating by selling, you will improve your product, and then that productized service will become a complete A to Z, right? With all of the steps, the major hurdles that they will go through. Now, it changes over time, but the main premise of this is this offer, this irresistible offer, is what we call your signature method, your framework. Because then, you know what happens is you are no longer the product. Your signature method, your framework is the product. Then you're no longer selling you. Sure, you can still turn up and do the teaching and be the face of the brand, but you're selling the framework, the signature method that you've created. And with that signature method, this is how it works. We've just discussed, you've got your client, right? They're sad, they're miserable, they need your help. And then they go through your method and they come out the other side and they're happy. They're transformed. They've got the results that they've hired you for. Now, the way in which the product and the service comes together is like this. Because remember, it's a mold. It's a mashup between a product and a service. Okay, it's just we want to have one way of doing it. It still doesn't mean that you don't show up and talk to people. It's not like a book on a bookshelf, they buy it, they walk away, and they never talk to you again. It's not like one of those programs or courses that you buy and you never get to speak to the person who actually made the course. This is how we create a high-ticket, high-value program that is scalable. And this is the trick. So you've got your signature method and you put it into an online course. Stick it into Kajabi and you have an online course. So those problems that you seem to constantly be repeating goes into the course. Okay, and then also as you work through that course, that is your lessons and the content and the step-by-step instructions that they go through. See how that works? Then you will still be talking to people. You don't ignore them. If people are going to pay, $5, $10, $20, $50, $60, $80,000 to work with you, they're still going to have questions. So when we have questions, we don't change the framework. We just include a frequently asked questions section. And then we have the way to improve the method. Okay, that's where this comes in. So this is the product part. Now, there is still service involved. With your service, you have a couple of different ways in which you provide service to people. Now, these are through community. Okay, so we keep our community in Slack, and also we've got like a legacy community in Facebook as well that our high-ticket clients still hang out in. But most of our people are hanging out in Slack. That's where they ask all the really high-level questions. And then, of course, you still run live calls because that's where you get all your frequently asked questions from. You still continue to help them. So you see, this is the service part of it, but you're not teaching the same thing over and over again. You're just coming there to help people answer questions that they're having with the content that they're going through. This is the coaching component. It then improves the results. Now, remember, we have to remember what to say yes to and what to say no to when we're building our signature method. Inside of these live coaching sessions, you're going to have the opportunity to improve your method, but there'll be things that people want added, and you've got to think, is it worth adding, or do I just put it in frequently asked questions, or do I just answer the question in the call and be done with it, right? Because you want to have a model that is actually scalable. And now if you follow this method, you will have a productized business model that is now scalable. You're no longer selling you. You're no longer selling you. You're selling the method. How amazing is that, right? And when you have this model, then you're going to have your clients and you're going to focus heavily on the one way to sell and attract people to this offer. That's it. When you pick one thing and dial it in, you will get to 6-figure months and 7-figure years. You only need $83,333 a month to be a 7-figure business. Okay? And when you focus in on that one thing, you make it high ticket, because there is still the part of the coaching component. All right? So we focus in on this one way to sell. And the 3 magical steps to true momentum, the way in which you make this work amazing, is you've got to build it first. You can build this thing in 6 to 12 weeks, depends how much energy you want to put into it, how badly you want it. Okay. But then after you've built out the main infrastructure, you've built the tech, you've built the funnels, you've got all of the programs talking to each other the right way, then you launch it and you measure your results. There is never the need to do the big build all over again. And once we measure all those sexy numbers, you have to optimize. So we get better and better and better. So you'll build it, you'll measure it, and then you'll redo the build. But you won't be building it from scratch. You will just be tweaking it. All right. So here's the exciting part that I've put together that I've never shared before publicly, but who wants to see the evolution of the Sparkle world? Now, before I do, I'm going to come into the VIP room. Hello, VIPs. So what did you think of that? Before I go through the evolution of the Sparkle world, come turn your cameras on. Don't be shy. Don't be shy. That's why you're here. I'd love to hear some key takeaways of what I just shared with you in regards to productizing a service. So Sarah is the first to turn her camera on. I'm going to come to Sarah. And of course, I'm going to have to check that the sounds are in the right place. So can you start talking for me? Yeah, can't hear you. Hang on a minute. Try again. Nah, not yet. Over this one. Rodecaster Pro. Try now. Oh my God, I hate this whole sound thing sometimes. It drives me batty. Microphone is Rodecaster Stereo. Let's try same as speaker. Just keep talking, Sarah. You're going to come through one day. I can hear you, but the audience can't. All right, hang on a second. Let me get this going. Yeah, that's not on mute. Okay, let's go down to Ecamm. Where is it? Virtual. Okay. It's so annoying. Try now. Now I've lost you again. Why won't it go through to the audience? Do that again. No. Oh, I can hear you. Hang on a second. Try now. Oh, it's coming through the road, but it's not coming out. This really annoys me that it does this to me. Okay. I don't want that. It is the speaker. It should be that one. Hang on. Let me go over here and let me choose that one. All right. Try now. Nope. Oh, God damn it. Same as system. Try now. No sound. Oh, my goodness. Why? I always mess this bit up. Same as system. Audio. Audio is up. That is up. That is eCam. Let's go Rode. Try now. No. Oh, my goodness. Why? It was so good this morning. I don't know. Try now. I can, but the audience can't hear you. What? Yeah, the people out on the live stream. I don't know what else to do. Okay, you just talk, Sarah, and I'll relay. So, why is it doing it today? It was really good. Don't know. Same as system. Let's try that one. All right. So, Sarah, share with us, yes, your biggest takeaway from today. Yes. Mm-hmm. See? So Sarah's just said it's brought home to her the essentialness of actually creating a course, and she struggled with the word productization or productize just like I did. I think it's just the thing. It is a long word. Yeah. Yes. Reach more people, work less. That's it. Yep. It is a good reminder. Thank you for sharing. Erica, I saw you watching out on the live. How about you? What was a key takeaway for you? Well, I still keep clicking buttons over here. Oh, no. Stay here. You're supposed to be in here. You're good. We can hear you. The problem is the people out on Facebook can't hear you, but I'm going to just relay what you're saying. So that's fine. Yeah. Yep. Yeah, that's it. Being in the room with others that are being through the same method. And Erica just said that she realised, when she put together her signature method and has been doing the parts through our program, that this has helped to kind of reinforce what she's going through right now and how all the pieces, are coming together. So that's awesome. What about you, Robin? What's the key takeaway for you? And congratulations to Robin. She just finished her launch. Yay! Woo! We're so excited for her. She's amazing. All right, Robin, so what was a key takeaway from today's lesson? Yeah, that's it. It's taking yourself out of the equation, right? It now allows you, hang on, I've figured out why nobody can hear you. Let me just check one thing. Virtual mic's on. That's on. Okay, no. I don't know why it's not working today. I need, seriously. Keep going, Robin. Anyway. Yes. Yep. Yeah. Marketable, stands on its own merits and gets results. That's it. It's that, one thing that, like, all of you guys are at different phases through the program, but we can still serve and look after you all at the same time. And there's power in that as well, because you can see, Robin, who's just done her first launch, Erica, who's just joined us, Sarah, who has been trying to do one thing but can see through watching others, there's power in the group, right? I love her smile and laugh. There is power in the group as well. I think it's more powerful running a group method than it is one-on-one. Yeah. All right. So what I want to do is I want to share with you our method. I've never actually done this publicly before to show the evolution of the Sparkle method. So where we've actually come from, where we started, how we started, and how we've evolved as well. So you see, when we began, I actually started just with like a little mini course teaching people how to go live, right? And then I realized I had to market it, then fell in love with marketing. Then I realized I had to learn to sell, fell in love with selling. And then I started learning all the things and then eventually fell in love with sales and marketing. And that's kind of where we are now. But here is the actual evolution as we went through. So at the very beginning, we actually had, in 2017 to 2019, we had a program that was called the Sparkle Elites. It was a membership program. And that membership program I literally released it. Prior to that, in September of 2017, I went full-time into my business, tried many little mini courses from 5-2 fasting to going live to recruiting. Actually, I started a recruiting course probably prior to going full-time into this business. But we ended up with a method that we had, which was called Marketing Action Plans, MAPS. Okay, I launched it for $14.95 on Boxing Day here in Australia, the day after Christmas. And it was available until New Year's Day to join at $14.95. I think only recently we lost our last person who was still paying $14.95. So it was the Marketing Action Plan. Now, back then I had been through a course with Shalene Johnson. She was my very first course that I ever purchased, literally sold things from my garage to buy. And the one part of her entire program that I loved the most was figuring out what it is that I wanted to turn into a course, right? Finding my inner sparkle, I called it. So the part one of this program was phase one, find your inner sparkle. So I was definitely working with startup businesses at the time. I shared her method and a couple of other methods, made my own little method. I wasn't teaching all the things from her program, but this was the first stage. What is the thing that you want to sell? Okay, what do you want to productize? Finding your inner sparkle. So once people went through that method, it was a great method and we still teach it. It's still there. It's a legacy. If we need to give it to people, we will, but it's not in our major program anymore, and I'll show you why. But then the second step was, because I knew once you know what it is that you need, you have to grow a list. You speak to everybody. So the next step was I gave them how to grow a list. Create a lead magnet, a landing page, a thank you page, send some emails. It was very simple, but that was the next step. Then I was constantly learning new marketing strategies. And the best way to learn is to teach. So as I implemented and tried different marketing strategies, in phase 3, I released different maps. So every month I would write a brand new marketing action plan, from how to run a challenge, how to set up a messenger bot, how to do a re-engagement campaign. There was lots and lots and lots of different maps. What I found was after 12 months, I could have people joining me and just release them slowly to them, and I only had to do 12, and then I didn't have to actually make any more, only the ones I needed. So I did this for about 2 years, and I just kept creating new maps. And every time I learned a new marketing strategy, I would include it in my program. Okay. But then what I found was, remember, it's not what you put in it, it's what you leave out. So what we discovered was we started having lots of things and people started getting confused because there was now too many marketing action plans to choose from. So in 2019, we decided to rename and rebuild and really focus in heavily on sales and marketing as a whole. So we created SMS, Sales Marketing School. The signature method that we created was called the Automated Client Attraction Machine. You see, over the last 2 years, I fell in love with automations, tags and squiggly lines, and how to make your life easier if you weren't having to do the same things over and over again. So I fell in love with the automation component more than anything else. How can I automate something? I always said if I did something 3 times, stop, automate it. If I was able to maybe spend, like, it might be a job that took me 5 minutes, but if I automate it, it might take me a day to build the automation, but I'd never have to do it again. So that's where we came up with the Automated Client Attraction Machine. So we had a few phases for this one. So the first phase was to, 1, set up your systems. So that was bringing together knowing what it is you're selling, building out the tech and the automation so that it could take care of it. So we were literally, this is where we were known for click by click. We had stopped teaching back in the elite days. We were teaching ClickFunnels, Lead Pages, Active Campaign, Kajabi, Keep, Teachable. I mean, all the software. When we moved to this, we were still able to teach and help, like in the FAQ section or in the live section, the other software, but we really dialed it into, 3 major pieces of software because people could then build it out click by following along the click by click. So I would literally run 3-day workshops and we would build the system in 3 full days. So now the system was built, it was all about converting your customers. So that's where we focused on traffic, where do we bring people in, and how to sell, right? So they needed to learn how to, at the top end, where do they get their traffic from to send them into the system or the funnel, right? Send them into the funnel. And then at the back end, how do they sell to them? So I taught sales training. Both of those things were maps, right? Then in phase 3 was scale your impact. So the first set up your system was a very basic build a PDF lead magnet. Simple, done. Okay, nice and simple. Next step, convert. So choose Facebook, Instagram, ads, whatever you want. Sell at the other end. Now it could be in webinar, on sales calls, all different ways of selling. Then scale your impact was again choosing different marketing plans. So it was the maps. Okay. So once you built one system, you've got that humming along, you're converting clients, then go and build a webinar, go and build a 3-day training, go and build something else. So you could choose different marketing plans to plug in once you'd gone through. Okay. And you start to scale. Again, as we continue to work with our clients over 2 years with this one, we again found too many choices. Will I run the 9-word email? Will I do Facebook groups? Will I do a challenge? Will I do a webinar? How do I sell? That became, again, it was a simple system to begin with, and everyone was grateful because they finally had a tech piece set up. And the other thing we found was people got stuck in the tech. They would follow along click by click, but they would procrastinate because the thing that they love to do, whether it's helping people with weight loss or mindfulness or meditation or art or how to bake a cake, right? They still had to build the tech. So after we worked with our clients, again, we hadn't really created anything new. We just put it in a more streamlined system. Then at the beginning of, or at the end of last year, or actually, and because I'm a graphic designer, we made an infographic for it. So that it was the set up, convert, scale, right? That was the method, the framework. Now in 2022, we've taken all the best bits that I've learned over X amount of years. It actually was put together at the end of last year. We launched it officially at the beginning of this year after we got through the craziness with the list growth. If anyone remembers that accidental funnel that I did with Amy Porterfield. But that allowed us time to really refine the system and the process. So we launched the Freedom Funnel Academy at the beginning of this year. So it is really a version of the Sales and Marketing School, but better. I mean, my God, so much better. Our signature method is the Freedom Funnel Formula. Now, this is how it works. We realized that there were certain pieces that only the clients could do. They had to do the messaging. We couldn't speak to their clients for them. But we could give them the script to do the messaging and make sure they get it done fast. Okay? Because when we told people to go out and do it, they're like, I don't know what to do. So we gave them the script. Next was the designing of the offer. So we had worked with so many clients by now. We knew there was a methodology to the way that we could get them to design the offer. We changed from printable workbooks to Google documents because that way we could give feedback in real time. Then, of course, the build it phase. So you don't have to build the tech anymore. We have the entire team of people that build it for you. This was the hugest hurdle out of everything, was getting them to build it. Now, all of the marketing action plans that we had built over the years, do you know the one thing that always converted the best to attract those leads? The ones that got leads from cold to sold the fastest were live events. And I'd been running live boot camps, challenges, training since 2015. I'd been running them. In 2017, I started doing them inside of Zoom, and I found that was the best marketing action plan that ever made, got people the most clients, made clients the most money, and now that's all we teach. How to run a Zoom challenge or a boot camp, live training, whatever you want to call it. Bring them into Zoom, teach them something. So while we're building out the tech, our clients are pulling a tiny little piece out of the offer, and they're just helping them figure out which bit they're going to teach to then sell them into the offer, right? Then what we do after that is fill it. Now, previously we would say, okay, go out, do your thing, go fill it, go learn Instagram, go learn Facebook ads, go learn LinkedIn, all that. You know what I do now? I hire an expert to come in, depending on what each of the clients need. Recently, one of our clients really wanted LinkedIn, went out, found someone I knew really, really well and trusted, and he's coming in to teach the proven LinkedIn method that he's used to scale to 6 and 7 figures. And we have ads experts and all of those things. So we're now starting to make it as simple as possible, taking out all the things they don't need to do so they can do only what they're good at. Then after that, we have the sell it phase. So all of these things are old maps. The sell it phase is the training that I learned how to actually sell. Now, I have hired and been with many professional sales coaches. I spent a lot of money learning how to sell. I'm actually interviewing one of them on the podcast in, I don't know when, but we were chatting on the weekend. She's going to come in. But I teach and give you the scripts on how to sell, right? But not only that is I watch back your sales calls. Now, here's the Productize part. They watch the training, they learn the scripts, they go out and practice, they record one, bring it back, I review it with them. So I'm not having to teach them all the things, right? But I can review it and make sure that they're closing and if they're forgetting to do certain things. Then, of course, how to deliver it, how to deliver the product but actually you're selling it before you've made it. That's a whole other teaching segment. We then have to also measure so that we can then scale, right? So once they've done the main build, the first 3 phases, they've filled it, they've sold it, we're just going to keep measuring and optimizing. And now we've taken away, like, how do you measure? Doesn't matter. I'm going to help you do that stuff, right? Until you can do it. Because our thing is we want you to earn while you learn. If you don't understand the tech, don't worry. She'll be doing its thing. Then you'll hire your staff and we'll train your staff. So as you can see, we haven't really changed a lot of things. We've taken things away. We don't teach webinars anymore. Webinars will go into the FAQ stuff later when people want to learn it. But until they dial in the one thing that we know gives them the most money, they've got to stick to it for 12 months, running Zoom challenges. And of course, graphic designer as I am, I created a framework picture. Now, you don't all have to do a framework picture, but I do quite love my framework pictures. So it shows you here, choose your market, get your first leads, get your next 1,000, then to 10,000. Earn your first $1 at this phase, earn your first 10. And until you're consistently making 5-figure months, you do not do anything other than a Zoom challenge. Just teaching a little bit of something to close people. And we take all the heavy lifting away from you. Now, because I've spent so long dialing in literally the same system and slowly pulling pieces out and making it more and more and more simple, where our prices have gone up, I've been able to hire more staff. I now don't have to do as many of the things. And guess what? The quality of the service that we give is better. Where previously people were buying a course where they had to follow and click along, now people are hiring a team. Now, remember, I started in 2017 to get to this point where I am now. I wore all the hats. I did all the things until around about the sales and marketing school, and then I had a few helpers. At the beginning, I used to have helpers coming in who were clients, right? I try not to do that, and I've actually made a rule. Like, we still have a couple of clients that help, but I've now made a rule that I'm not going to do that anymore because the waters can become a bit murky. Some people feel that, you know, they're doing more and you're doing not as much. So, like, I've got a new client who's coming in who's going to, like, be our Asana guru. I'm paying her, she's paying me. But can you see where we've really scaled from? I had started with this idea, and as I grew and as things got a little messy because my clients started getting confused, I refined it. And then I refined it again. Now, you don't have to go and change the names as you refine it. It could be totally the same name, but the Sparkle Elites really didn't speak to anyone. It was a little bit of an offshoot from when I was in network marketing. My team were the Sparkle Berries, and to be at the top of the network marketing company, you become an elite. That's where the Sparkle Elites name came from. And then the maps were the marketing action plans. The sales and marketing school was just a really great thought I had in the middle of the night. I'm like SMS, kind of talking to each other, helping people. I don't know, it all kind of just felt real cool. Maybe I shouldn't have changed it to SMS, but I really felt that because I was dumping out all the stuff that really didn't need to be there, the Freedom Funnel became the thing. I'm loving it right now. It's doing really fabulous. You know, we're doing, you know, high 5 and 6 figure months because we've found the one thing and we've dialed it in. So there you go. That's the evolution of the Sparkle world and where we are today. Now, if your business still looks the same as it did back then, like in 12 months' time, you're not growing. Your business isn't evolving. Your business actually should look different every 12 months because you're improving your systems, your processes, the way in which you serve, because people pay for speed. And it's not what you put in it, it's what you leave out. And at the beginning, you do feel like you want to put everything in it. I know, I did it. And I remember somebody years ago telling me the same thing. And it was through working with clients that I realized, let's just make it as super simple as possible. So now the only people we work with, I used to even help e-commerce people, are people who want to teach people stuff, transform lives, coaches and consultants, right? Who then want to attract and teach to sell in Zoom. So we teach you how to teach to sell in Zoom. Who want to sell high ticket products. So $1,000 and above, can be 50, can be 100, but $1,000 and above. And they want to sell on a sales call. Because I know, like my current coach I paid $48,000 for, if I didn't get to speak to somebody before spending that type of money, I wouldn't have paid. So if you want to sell a high ticket, you need to learn how to talk to people to sell. And so we teach you in Zoom how to teach to sell, but in a really fun way, because business should be fun. We gamify things, we automate things, and we do all the automation and all the sexy stuff for you. So you just got to show up and do your thing. All right, there you go. Hopefully that's given you a bit of an insight into our evolution, and know your business will evolve as well. Okay, but you cannot evolve your business if you don't start working with people, if you don't turn on that productized service. All right, I'm going to come back to the VIP room. I'm so disappointed I can't get the sound to work today. But for those who are left in the room, I know a few of you have jumped out. I'd love to hear your takeaways. And so Sarah, have you seen the evolution before? Or I know it's in our workbook, but I don't know if I've actually taught it verbally. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. What about you, Robin? You're on mute before you start talking. Yeah, yeah. So Robin's just said it's not a lot of change. It is moving stuff around. Yeah. Yeah, yeah. You're welcome, Reba, for the background story. Yay! That's it. Reba's a lifer. She is. She's always hanging out. I love it. What about you, Liz? She's hiding in the background there. Otherwise, we're going to go dark. I am a little bit over. Okay. Yep. Cool. Yeah. Well, it is in phase 3. Once you get to, no, it's in phase 2. It's in phase 2 of the program. Yeah, Sarah's confirming. Yeah, phase 2. All right, guys, what I'm going to do now, because for some silly reason their sound's not working, maybe because Kat's away today and it's decided. Usually Kat comes in and helps me test all the sounds before I go live. Anyway, it is what it is. Everybody, I hope that was super helpful. Now, if you want me to have a look through your business, then I invite you, you can totally come and book a call. You just go to this address right here. I love pulling apart people's business models. I love looking at them and seeing how we can productize them for you. And if it's something that you've considered, or maybe you've already got a course and you're just not sure how to scale it, you're still wearing all the hats, or you're not sure of the method on how to get people in and how to sell them, and you just want more clients, right? Then come book a call. Let me help you by going through your current methodology and giving you a plan to move forward. We do only bring on a limited amount of people into our program at any given time because the amount of attention we do give our clients. But I would still love to pull apart your business model and have a look. So if you would like to book yourself a complimentary call, please do so. I'm going to go now. We've got goal setting. We've got extra questions to do with those in the Zoom room. For those who have logged out, we had a few new clients and students just jump in. If you're still watching this out on Facebook, you guys actually get more time with me. So come back into Zoom. We're about to do our goal setting. We're about to follow up on where we're at for the week and set our plan of intention for the rest of the week. So all of our paying clients, come back. We haven't yet finished, but we've finished on the live stream. Thanks everyone for joining us live. As always, never let anyone dull your sparkle, and make sure you get at least one income producing activity done each and every day.
You've been hiding in the shadows way too long. You always thought that you were weak, but babe, you're wrong. Yeah, you better step into the light, just give it a try. Think that it's time you let that spark out. You've been hiding in the shadows way too long.